Hello people and welcome to a new game development update. This time I'm trying a new recipe. Instead of doing a traditional dev blog, I will treat you with a video where I pretty much walk you through our latest sprint review. So for us, a typical sprint period is 3 weeks long. So it's a software term and yeah, it's just a period of time really. The big focus this sprint has been on tutorials and readability. We have, as you might have known by now, let a few journalists and gaming content creators on YouTube try out the game for themselves, and it became quite apparent that the game had a few problems explaining to the user important parts of the game. So readability is a lot about what you can see on the adventure map, trying to understand what you can interact with, and of course the whole process of onboarding a new player is also something that we discovered that we probably need to work on that quite a bit more. So tutorials, if you will. As per usual, there are also other things happening in the background and in the foreground and everywhere, I guess. So if we look a bit of what Carl has been working on, he has specifically been looking at the Rana campaign and trying to finishing up all the campaign missions and also rewriting or touching up all the texts in the game and getting them ready for localization. So another thing that we've been working on, or more specifically Albin, our design intern, he has overhauled, reworked our random events. Random events are kind of like a small part of the game, but we think it adds a little bit of flavor and immersion to the game world. It's a way for us to reward the players with goodies or potentially actually even take stuff from them or their kingdom. So it could be both positive and negative, and sometimes they can be a little bit of both. Tutorials are really important obviously to the game, and the part of this feature which is called a codex, right now it holds more information about wielders and skills and the artifacts, but theoretically we could add info about more buildings, the troops themselves, and also the lore about the world and the game and the factions, I guess. And I mean, we have a huge lore document that's over 50 pages long, so in theory we could put that in there as well. It just comes down to stuff like translations, and of course Christian, our UI artist, would need to make sure that everything looks as good as possible. So yeah, do let us know if you think an in-game world document or lore documentation is something that you think would benefit this game. This is also an example of how the tutorials can look. This is a little bit bigger pop-up where you can flip in between pages if we have lots of information to show. And this is a smaller type of pop-up which we can enable right after something had happened in the game, so we can kind of prompt the user at the right point in time when they want to, or rather need to, learn about a specific feature. Christian made sure that the spells look better when you look at the spell book in the adventure screen. This is from an idea from one of our users. Thank you, Anders. And we think it looks much better now with the icons lit up. Before they were kind of grayed out, because we wanted to make the user aware that you actually can't cast spells on the adventure map, but we don't think that that would be as confusing for the user anyhow, so we figured it's better to show the icons exactly how they look. We also have made it more clear which type of essence you have access to, so it's a bit easier for the user to understand what type of spells he or she potentially can cast when combat ensues. Speaking of spells and combat, I'm not sure if it's Robin or David or Christian or Niklas or who did this, but every turn it's your troop. Your troop will generate essence for your wielder. And the essence is kind of like mana in the sense that it unlocks your ability to cast spells. And on the top left hand side you'll see this small quick bar that appears when you have new spells that are available for you to cast. Because we realized when we watched a few players playing the game, they sometimes forgot that they could cast a spell each turn. So now we auto-populate the quick bar just to kind of nudge the user in the direction of, hey, there are more cool spells for you to use, so don't forget about them. Then we have this thing called powers. It's every 8th level. I think Carl wanted the players to get a real sense of oomph every now and then. So instead of just having 3 skills to choose from, you can actually pick from 2 different powers that are randomized. And these powers are much more powerful than the ordinary skills. So Christian has done a lot to kind of make it just a bit more interesting visually. David has made sure that the objectives are much more clear to the users. Also, when you finalize or complete one of your goals or objectives, there is an animation on the screen and it kind of makes you aware that yes, you did good, you have finished this task, now you're ready to move on to the next. This screen right now looks a bit all over the place, but it's just an example of how it looks in the small tooltips when you hover over different map objects. So you can potentially left click to build when you're hovering over a small build site, or you can right click to claim something on the adventure map, like a Chaos Spire, which gives you 1 additional Chaos Essence each round in combat. So adding these small mouse icons and prompts is a way for us to kind of tell the user, hey, click this to do that. Another thing that we discovered when we watched others play the game is that sometimes there was a bit of a confusion when a melee unit ended their turn right next to a destructible object, because it wasn't always clear that you actually could destroy the object that you were standing next to. And if your melee unit still has an opportunity to attack something, we won't auto end the turn. So what typically happened was that someone would place their unit near destructible object and they would just be a bit baffled at the game not auto ending the turn for them, because it typically does if you're out of movement. So what David did is like he highlighted the destructible terrain, and after a few seconds there's this text prompt that says that this thing can actually be attacked. And then it's up to you to decide if you want to attack it to end the turn, or just simply click the end turn button. Robin has been working with the attack preview and the damage preview, I should say, and it tells you both an estimate of how much damage you will do, but also how many troops you will kill. And if you continue to hover for a while, you will see a bit more information on what your troop gets in terms of buffs and nerfs, just to make it a little bit more clear and allowing the user to make more informed choices. Another thing we have realized when watching people play is that they sometimes forget to move all of their wielders, even though they might have movement left, and just end the turns without thinking about it. So David and Christian, I think, have changed the color of the end turn button. Basically, it's just a way to tell the user, hey, you can still move some of your wielders, and if you want to do that, go ahead and do that, and the button will turn green. But on the other hand, you might want to place a wielder in a choke point on the map and actually don't use all of the movement, and that's fine as well. You can still click the end turn button, even if it's orange. Niklas has implemented subtitles for the cutscenes, and this is a sneak preview of one of the first cutscenes you'll see in the game. Christian made sure that it looks good in terms of layout and design and font, and yours truly have been working with the tedious task of making sure that all the subtitles are correctly placed in timestamps for all of the cutscenes. And of course, it's Carl who has written all of the lyrics for the song that's actually being sung by himself in the cutscenes. There has also been optimization of the movement path, and you can see the old one on the top and the new one down below. Patrick has now made it possible for players to pick which wheeler they want to start with when they start a new map. So that's a good thing, even though obviously the layout for this selection is certainly not finalized and it's quite prototype looking right now, but at least it works. Anders, our lead artist, along with Marty, one of our freelancers, and Cordian, another freelancer, have been working with the different troops for the game, more specifically the new zombie troop for Loth, our new neutral unit, the Wolf, and the Ballista, one of the siege units for Arleon. Anders has also sketched a way for more ballistas, more specifically one for each faction. and Cordian have taken a few of Eyal's artifacts and really polished them up to the next level. Anders has also worked alongside Patrick with making sure that we increase the readability on the adventure map. More specifically, making sure that things like pickups, objects you can use on the adventure map, really stands out a bit more from the foreground or the environments. The mines, more specifically, have been a large part of it because they sometimes kind of blended in a bit more with the environment, but now they should look even more kind of visually distinct compared to their surrounding environments. Anders and Patrick have also done a lot of specific scenes for an upcoming explainer trailer, which we will be releasing on the Future Games show later this year, in actually just a few weeks' time from now. So that's something you'll have to look forward to. And yeah, with that said, I'm really thankful for you all watching until the end. I hope you enjoyed it. And please let me know, do you want me to continue to do these videos where I explain what we have been doing the last few weeks? Or do you want me to kind of keep doing traditional dev blogs as I've been doing in the past? Just drop a comment down below and let me know. With that said, thanks so much, and don't forget to click like, subscribe and hit the bell button so you'll get notified when we release new videos like this. And of course, wishlist the game on Steam and follow us on Steam. It really helps us a lot. Thank you and have a great day.